Hello, I'm going to call this episode, I think I will call them Sky Tubes. And the reason I say that is because uh, I called them serpent tubes before, but I am familiar with rods and what they call skyfish. I studied those for a while. These to me just don't fall into that category at all. Anyway, what I do is I go out at night with my Samsung Galaxy X6 camera and put the flash on, and I point it straight up at the sky over my head, and I start taking flash shots one right after another. And I noticed I was getting things like this in my frames and in my images uh, by accident, and I thought I would see what other results I could get with it. And at first, it was kind of slow, and then these things started showing up all the time. The one that you can see there to the left, it shows up several times in these series of shots that I've taken, I think it's the same one. It looks exactly the same size, length, and diameter, and everything. Here's one coming out of the top corner, and again, I'm just holding the camera over my head, looking at the viewfinder. Sometimes I don't look at the viewfinder. Sometimes I watch the air or the space in front of the camera lens to see if I can actually see them myself with my own eyes, but I can't. The only way that I can see them is when they show up in the viewfinder. It's strange. It's almost like they're kind of invisible. I had a friend of mine over, and I was telling him about it. I said, "Come on out." I said, "I'm sure I can get at least one, on an image of at least one." And we went outside. He watched. I took a series of about 30 shots, and probably 60-70% of them had sky tubes in them, as I call them now. I don't know what they are. He was baffled. He stood about 10 feet away and watched me use the camera and swore he saw nothing flying past the camera in the dark. When the flash lit up, you would be able to tell if there was an insect there or a fly or something going by. But it's almost too early in the year here for insects to be out at night in swarms and things, and he was baffled. He stood beside me, watched the viewfinder, saw them in the viewfinder flying by really fast, and watched as we listened for the shutter to fire, hoping that we would see something on the viewfinder at the time that the shutter fired. It's just baffling. So these were all from tonight, and the next ones I'm going to show you are enhancements of the best ones from last night. There's some pretty good ones in here. The blue glowing dot there beneath the moon, that's a lens flare. I know that for sure. It shows up in every picture, and it changes depending upon the angle of attack of the camera lens at the time. These came out pretty well. These are more colorful. Sometimes you do see more colors when you do a brightness enhancement. I do almost a 100% brightness enhancement, and I don't really put a lot of credence in that actually being the actual color of these things, because sometimes things in Photoshop especially can change their color attributes whenever you do a severe brightness enhancement. These are from last night, and yeah, I mean, this is one of the strangest things I've experienced. Like I said before, I did a little research on rods when I first heard about them back in the 90s, and I'm familiar with Jose Escamilla and his many books and videos on the rod phenomena. I don't know how much credence I put into it, mainly because I've seen video of insects flying by video camera lenses that looked exactly like rods. Now, there were some shots that I saw from a cave in Mexico with some skydivers in it, and that was pretty hard to dismiss. Those seemed authentic to me, but just like these, there's no proof of what I have no proof of what they are. I have no idea what they are. All I know is that when I put the camera over my head and start taking flash pictures, these things show up on film. And if you've watched any of my other videos, especially the one that's called Unbelievable Evidence of Invisible Terrestrial Entities, ITEs, that was when I first really got into, I don't know if you would call this spirit photography or paranormal photography or whatever you want to call it. For some reason, I just kind of found myself being able to produce pictures like this. Strange pictures. Now, believe me, I've taken hundreds and hundreds of photos with nothing in them. And I'm not the kind of a person who sees things in paintings and stuff like that. I try to be honest with what I actually see and interpret in these images. And frankly, I don't know what they are. So if you do, if you have any ideas on what they could be, if you've ever photographed anything like this or read about anything shaped like this or any stories or mythology that have anything to do with flying snakes in the sky or whatever, please leave it in the comments. I would love to hear your comments. And if you can debunk this and tell me scientifically what it is, I would like to hear that even more. So thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to get something new out for everyone to watch here real soon. Thank you.